Okay, well, it's rolling. It's rolling. A Storm of Swords prologue. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Prologue, also known as the type of chapter where things don't go as planned, not usually. And what an interesting setting this is. We started with a chronology. That was interesting. A note on chronology. The events you're about to read, I'm not quoting here, I'm paraphrasing. The events you're about to read may be taking place in or around or shortly before the Blackwater battle and so on and so forth. So this is not shouldn't be read in a proper continuous timeline. Timeline. Speaking of timeline, this prologue here, which is set in the north of the wall, and according to a timeline out there on the internet, takes place after John 1 in this same book, actually. So it's not chronologically speaking the very first thing that happens in this book. And because, I don't know, the basis for these guys to say this is that the wildlings will be seen in the Milkwater footpath, will be joined by John in that specific geographic location in a much later chapter, which is John 1. Anyway, what's going on here? We've got a POV character, and by now, even if you, dear listener, happen to be a first-time reader, you will know that the POV chapter in a prologue tends to die a horrible death. And I assume that you've already read this prologue, so I won't hold back on spoilers. Yes, this POV character, Chet, does not make it. No, of course, we met him before. This Chet has been mentioned before, and is immediately described as well, it's not really described, but we can infer that he is grey and bitter cold, just like the day. Yeah, may I read the first sentence, just this once? The day was grey and bitter cold, and the dogs would not take the scent. Oh, beautiful. Two bits of information were given. And bitter and cold, indeed, is the theme. Chet, this character, is a bitter man. He is hateful, spiteful, and I guess we can kind of if not sympathize, we can kind of understand the reasons. Will you stop that? Yeah, that's my cat in the back. We encountered him in Book 1, A Game of Thrones, where he had a cushy job. All he had to do was tend to Maester Aemon's various affairs, the most menial ones, such as tending the fire, adding logs in the hearth, and there you go. You happy now? See, my cat is knocking objects off the desk, as well as, of course, cleaning bird shit off the ravens' cages and whatnot. And he was rather happy for once, because in his own words, at least Maester Frail and old Maester Aemon at least didn't beat the shit out of him. So there you go. That was a good thing. That's what he was doing in Game of Thrones until Jon Snow influenced, manipulated, as a bad word, Maester Aemon into hiring Sam instead. For various reasons. Reason one, because Sam was so unfit for training that he was not likely to even survive Mr. Thorne's sword training, fencing, whatever, sword training. Sooner or later, it was going to be defragged by his own brothers because they just couldn't stand it anymore. And I think Thorns was also planning on applying some, collective punishments, a la Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, there are parallels to Full Metal Jackets actually. I just realized it now. Silly me. Like, as in, every time Sam fails to perform a task, then everybody gives me 20. That kind of thing. So that's the first reason. Spare Sam's life because you don't want to lose him. After all, he can read, which, as far as I understand, as far as I remember, Chet couldn't. Because for letters, reading and writing letters, correspondence, and whatnot, Eamon had a different person appointed to that task. A guy called Clydas, I think. In fact, there was a running joke. Chet has a face covered in boils. Clydas has a non-existent chin, and is really short and balding. Nothing wrong with any of those things taken separately, but Clydas seems to have them all. And the running joke was that Eamon had been assigned the two ugliest brothers in the Night's Watch because at least he would be spared the pain of having to look at them because he's blind, you see. Ha ha. And as far as I know, Clydas, wasn't he like an apprentice? Didn't he want to be an apprentice maester himself? And in fact, I don't want to give you any spoilers. In fact, this is probably as good a place as any to announce the policy. I will only be looking backwards in the books and maybe in the HBO series, because I'm assuming that you, dear listener, might be one of the first-time readers. What are the odds, actually? Who knows? But just in case, I won't be giving you any spoilers. But I think that at some point, Clydas does have to be that does have to cover for most of Maester's tasks later on in a future book, because he has no choice. So he certainly did receive the training, even though he didn't specifically train in Old Town. Correct me if I'm wrong. So anyway, Clydas and Chet has got a face full of boils. I told you that already, and he had this cushy job that he kind of enjoyed. And when we did encounter him in the Game of Thrones suite, he wasn't half as bitter as he is now. In fact, upon rereading, I was surprised when I first encountered him again in the Game of Thrones. He wasn't really. Whenever he spoke about his tasks and Maester Aemon, he said things like, he sounded concerned for the man. He was full of consideration for the old man, because he said, he's a frail elderly chap and he shouldn't be disturbed. Look what you make me do now. You make me wake him up, and then that's not good for his health. Whereas here we find out, did all this resentment for the rest of the world just surface now, a few months after he's been kicked out of a job and given the menial task of looking after the dogs, kennel master, a task that he does like everything else in his own resentful and bitter and hateful way, i.e. kicking the dogs. Yeah, every now and then, turn the page, he's here. Every now and then, just in doubt, he kicks a dog or two. That's his policy. He's consistent. He goes, when in doubt, just kick a bitch, kick a dog, and that'll make you feel better, which it doesn't. And what is happening here? Quite simply, what kind of because I said at the beginning we're given two bits of info. One of them being that that the day is cold and grey and bitter cold, and the other one that the dogs won't pick up the scent. What scent? Well, apparently they're after a bear. They're hunting. They're the Night's Watch, who is now stationed permanently at the Fist of the First Man. That's where that's where we last, saw them in towards the end of Clash of Kings. They're there, where they have built up their own fort, defenses, and whatnot, which are not 100% impregnable, but we'll find that later. And they're there, and of course, you keep trying and survive on dried meat, dried cod, and hardened oat cakes and stale bread. Yeah, what you want is some fresh meat, I guess. If you are so inclined, why not have a bear steak or two, if the chance presents itself? And that's what they're trying to do. Lord Commander Mormont has sent Mr. Chet after a bear, but the dogs won't pick the scent, and well, I'm not a first-time reader myself, so I know that the dogs sense that there's something wrong with the bear, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm going to remain zipped as to what. Okay, this is not a proper bear. That's all. Okay, enough. But how ironic! The old bear, sent Chet to track a bear. There you go. See? Yeah. How? And what's going on here? Well, it's too blood. And here's something else. Some other bits of foreshadowing that we encounter later on. Because Chet keeps complaining. Oh my God, there's no way. This is pointless, and it's too bloody cold. In fact, it's been getting colder right now, and there's a reason for that too. There's a reason for the animals being suddenly silent. This is the beautiful trope. Everybody shut up. We're in the middle of a jungle. I don't like it. It's too quiet. And why hasn't any character ever said in a film, okay, everybody shut up? I don't like it. It's way too noisy. Never. I mean, just for a change. Anyway, what happens here is, okay, so it's too bloody cold, blah, 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 and let's go back, and yeah, well, Chet is reasonably, understandably nervous because he's got a plan in motion. He's hatched a plan, and this plan has involved another 13 members of the Night's Watch. And the plan involves a bit of mutiny and some casual murder here and there. Targeted murders, officers predominantly, and then desertion. That is the plan. That's the plan. And if you made it this far, I assume that you've read A Clash of Kings, and in The Clash of Kings, this plot is not entirely news, because this plot was overheard by John on his way to something. Either from or to Lord Commander Mormont or Corin Halfhand, I forgot. He overheard a bunch of brothers, among whom Chet was sitting and spitting his usual hateful, vengeful shtick. He was John overheard them, voicing their malcontent, and he thought to himself, "What do I do? What do I do now? Do I report them?" Because it wasn't just voicing their malcontent, as in, oh, look where we are now. This does not rock. It was a bit more than that. it was kind of like, we should really, we should really, like, yeah, right, yeah, let's do it. Oh, shh, hush, 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 hush. Hello, John. How you doing? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so John thought to himself, what do I do? Do I report them? Do I keep mum about it? And he chose on the latter. He decided, no, okay, I'm not going to grass them up. I'm not going to rat on my brothers. And that who do I go as far as to say that John caused the eventual mutiny that resulted, which is not happening here in this prologue, by the way. And this foiled, it's foiled, right? The mutiny plot was foiled. You know this because you've read the chapter. Please tell me at least that you've made it that far. And it was foiled, dear listener. And therefore, I guess it wasn't considered worthy of portraying in the HBO series. This particular episode does not feature in the HBO series, although there will be a mutiny later on, but that's okay. That's for the future. So I'll shut up right now. I can't believe I'm still on the first page. No, guys. I need to be a bit more. Okay, stay focused, stay on point. Why? Okay, we know the what, we know the when. We act tonight. That's the mutiny plot. We're going to do it tonight, says Chet. And why? Well, quite simply because, as you know, the wildlings, or the free folk, as they prefer to be called, are on the march. And they could be upon them in as little as 10 days. They're on the march, following the course of the Milkwater River, and that's what they're doing. So, and there are scouts, their outriders have returned. Well, some of them have returned. Who has returned? Let me see. Of course, that not so nice guy, Thorin Smallwood, has returned. He was, in fact, he was the one charged, if you remember, with keeping an eye on the Milkwater and report back as soon as possible. 15 outriders were sent out in total in A Clash of Kings, and 5 were led by this Smallwood guy. Then Jarmin Buckwell led another 4 with him to the Giant Stairs. Love these names. And Corin Halfhand, who took John with him, was sent out to the Skirling Pass. And they were meant to report back. And so far, the only person who's returned is Thorin Smallwood. And he said as much. He said, well, here's what's happening. Some, just a bunch of wildlings are marching our way along the course of the Milkwater. Ah, okay. Interesting. Wildlings, you say, huh? How many? How many? All of them. I counted 30,000. Took me a long time because I kept falling asleep. And they could be upon us in as little as 10 days. What do you suppose Lord Commander Mormont said to that? 30,000. We're 300. 300 versus... Let's take them. Let's take them. We can get them. We can totally kick their asses. Are you with me? Yeah. Well, even if you're not with me, I mean, I'm in charge, so whether you like it or not. And someone does not like it, and this someone is Chet, and another 13 guys. So the plan is... Oh, by the way, there are theories out there. Let me see. I want to see the... I think I've underlined... Mormont says... okay, first of all... The plan that Mormont has involves getting them in the flanks where they are weaker and unprotected. Let's get. What does he say? We'll turn their wagons. Here we go. We'll turn their wagons, scatter their herds, slay as many as we can. Ha ha! Dude, what have you been smoking? And also, let's not forget, okay, get them where they're weaker. But aren't women and children by the wagons? Was Mormont planning genocide, war crimes? That is not in accordance to international humanitarian law. Elsie, you should be standing in The Hague right now. Except that's not what happens in the end. And so he says what he says, and all these officers concur that yes, we can get them where they're weaker. We can cause some serious damage to their columns, to their host. And they won't know what's what. They won't know what hit them. I mean, we can seriously kick their asses. Because look, they've got as I said, wagons. They've got animals. Look, women and children. They're driving animals before them. Goats, sheep, even aurochs. Dragging sledges, aurochs. Here's a great animal I wish I could have lived to see back in the 17th century, because that's when he got extinct. They've got metal cages. Really? Yeah, well, cages of meat. I misread meat. They've got meat, as you would, cages of chicken, butter churns, and spinning wheels. And in another spinning wheels, in case you're in the middle of, the bank, the milk water banks, nothing to do. Okay, well, I guess I can start knitting a jumper, and no one, not one of those smart officers, wonders. Oh, wait a minute, this isn't strictly a military column. They're marching against us or against the wall they want to attack. But for some reason, it's an entire town, not a village, it's a large town, 30,000 people, with, in another passage they say, with all their worldly possessions. And not one of these smart officers questions, wait a minute, why? What are they fleeing from? Surely they must have a good reason to leave their homes behind. An easy objection could be made. Okay, well, they feel that winter is coming, and if you're there in the land of the eternal winter, then I guess that when winter does come for the rest of the world, the winter that you experience might be slightly more eternal than the regular eternal. With this, eternal winter and eternal winter plus. So maybe that's what they're doing. There's no way they're going to survive winter, so they're coming down south and taking their chances. But we know that that's not the case. Anyway, so that's the deal with these guys, and that's the only report that the officers, including Mr. Mormont, have received, because Jarmin Buckwell has not returned from the Giant Stairs, and Corin Halfhand and John and the other three, who we know by now didn't make it, have not returned either. So what's going on here? The consensus, just to pick up the thread of what I was trying to say earlier, the consensus among readers around the world is that Mormont's plan, Chet's mutiny plan might have succeeded. Mormont's, not so much. The plan, spelt out loud and clearly, is as follows. and Chet himself explains it to us by saying, "Look," he's talking to the sister man. What's his name? Lark, the sister man. Yes, he's another a spiteful guy. Yeah, we are brothers in spite and contempt, aren't we? Yeah. Okay, so lay out your plan on me one more time. And Chet goes, he was sick of hearing it, and he said, "We've been over this," which, as exposition goes, it's not as clunky as, "Hi, it's your sister." No one talks like that. And yet, in one episode of the HBO series, season 2, we hear someone knocking on Tyrion's door, and no, season 3, sorry, and my guess is exclusively for the benefit of people who just tuned in now for the first time, just to see what the fuss is all about. Okay, let's check out series 3. Just for those who are just tuned in now with no background, no backstory of any characters, Cersei turns out to be the person who knocked on the door, say, "Hi, it's your sister." But I mean, seriously, dear listener, do you ever phone up your siblings and go, "Hi, it's your brother. Hi, it's your sister"? No one talks like that. That is, I'm sorry, writers of that beautiful HBO series, that is the worst exposition. It's been done in other movies as well, and I hated it there too. Now this is not the kind of exposition of, "As you know, we plan to rob a bank, and here's the plan." It's not so obvious. It is 50-50. It's like you get someone who is either completely ignorant as to what the plan is, or someone who's a bit thick or doesn't have a very good retention memory. And he goes, "Oh, sorry, remind me again, what are we supposed to do? We've been over this. I kill this guy, I kill Tywin, I kill Bannon, you kill this, and I kill Sam," who Chet never refers to as Sam, he calls him Sir Piggy. Oh, that's mean. And he goes, "I'll kill her." And in the meantime, no one will know what's what, because the dogs will be set loose on the horses. I should know. I've been starving them for days, he says. And by the way, by now, I probably should explain that there's a link between Mormont's plan and Chet's plan. I mean, yeah, it is Mormont's LC Mormont's plan that forces, shall we say, pushes Mr. Chet to hatch his diabolical plan, because he just wants to live. His plan is to live. So I'm sorry. We're remind me again. We're 300. There's 30,000 of them. Admittedly, some women and children, which I wouldn't mind slaughtering, being the jolly good fellow that I am. But still, we don't have a chance to survive. "Ah, yes, many of us will die. Of course, many of us will die," said Mormont somewhere in this chapter. In fact, maybe all of us. But surely that's the reason why they made us don the black, said another commander many, many years ago. And in fact, it is Corin Halfhand's favorite, mantra. He keeps saying that. Now, he said it once. Yeah, well, sure, don't get too attached to life, because, we're already dressed all in black, so we're ready to be buried in our clothes. So cheer up, John, is what he said in an earlier chapter. So, given that is Mormont's prospect, and you can't say, it's not like at a party where you can refuse. "Oh, was that cosmopolitan? Not really my thing. No, okay, no, I'll pass on that." No, you can't really say that. No, if L.C. Mormont is in charge and he says, "And we're going to, yes, we're going to attack," That's exactly what they're going to do. And all the officers are going to, okay, yeah, that sounds like, it sounds like a solid plan. I like it. Yes, let's go for it. So, but no, Chet has another plan in mind. He says, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to attack the free folk. All of a sudden, Chet is politically correct in my narration. No, he never refers to them as free folk. Nonetheless, he goes, okay, well, 30,000, no. Okay, I have a better plan. Let's murder the officers. Huh? Are you with me? You, Small Paul, the other fellow conspirator is Small Paul, who is anything but small. In fact, is he completely covers the trope of the free giant. Sorry, what am I talking about? The gentle giant, and it has been suggested by some that he might have a learning disability, like a mental disability, and then 12 more people whose names I don't recall. Anyway, so 14. Yeah, 14 is a good number. We kill them all. While the dogs keep everybody distracted because they're so starved that they will go after the horses. And then what else? And before anyone knows what's what, bada bing, bada boom, we're out of here. We're out of here. No one will be able to track us because we have killed the person who's in charge of tracking. They had a tracker guy, and he's in charge of tracking. Presumably the enemy, wildlings and whatnot, but in this case deserters as well. But we're living, strangled, choked, stabbed, shot, blown up to pieces, defragged. He won't be able to track us. So we'll make it to the free world. And yes, Lark, the sister man, he wants to row back on a boat from Eastwatch. His plan is, I'll take my cousins and we'll all go back to the sisters, those dreadful, ugly islands that we'll encounter in a Dance with Dragons. And he says, sorry. And he says, that's what we'll do, and everything will be hanky-dory. And Chet thinks, yeah, good luck with that. Wherever you go, they will, especially if you go back to where people know you or remember you, they will know that you signed a contract, mate, and the one condition for breach of contract, you should have read the small print, is that you lose your head. They lop your head off, they behead you. That's what you pay when you desert the Night's Watch. And now that other fella, what's his name, Ololophand. Now that his plan is better. He wants to make it to Tirosh, but then again, do I really want to do something at all? And do I really want to spend the rest of my life in Tirosh? I have no trade to speak of. All I'm trained in is how to catch leech, and the only skill you need to possess in order to catch leeches, as my father once showed me when I was a child, is to possess blood. And they'll come to you, and that's what we did. We used to have a jolly good old time, me and my dad, back in the pond, catching leeches and then selling them to the market. Because as we learned from Roose Bolton and a few maesters here and there, leeches are used to as a therapeutic, blood transfusion, a very rudimentary type of blood transfusion kind of a equipment, and that's how they're used. So you could sell it, and that's the only thing I can do. And as far as I know, there are no leeches in Tirosh. So yeah, and besides, I don't speak the, how does he refer to that, the wet language? I forgot. He's got a slur for everybody. No, but what he really wants to do is once we've murdered all these key people in the watch and we have made it with the horses, what I want to do is I don't want to stop killing. It's just too enjoyable an activity. What I'll do is I'll get back to Craster's Keep, murder him, and in fact I can even name myself king. If Mansraider did that, why can't I? And so there, yeah, that's something to contemplate. No one will ever bother me. No. I'll live with these like the couple dozen women around me, whose father and husband I just murdered, but I really liberated them. But I can safely assume that they will all be grateful to me, and not one of them will slit my throat in my sleep. Absolutely not. This plan will work. Trust me. That's what I'll do. I'll be king of the hill in Craster's Keep. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Not like the little shit I was when I grew up in Hagsmire, some place under in the king's quote unquote kingdom of the phrase the you know what you call it the phrase it was under the phrase jurisdiction. As a matter of fact, back then when he was still living there in this dreadful place he does not want to go back to, Hagsmire, he was that was the reason why it was sent to the Night's Watch in the first place, because he stabbed a sex worker to death, and because she wouldn't sleep with him, because look, hey, I have my limits, I have my standards, I grew up here all my life, and I'm kind of an institution around here. I don't want to ruin my reputation by sleeping with you. I mean, you're ugly. Okay, that was mean, but so was stabbing this woman to death. Anyway, they caught him, and he still reminisces about that. Oh God, what a dreadful place! I'm not going back there for sure. I remember I was caught, and Waldo Rivers couldn't even. Well, sorry, Walder Frey couldn't even be bothered to turn up himself to judge me. Well, what did he expect him to do? Come around on a litter. Is that how he moves around on a litter? He can stand up in the HBO series, but he has lost the use of his legs in the book series. He's nearly 100 years old. Did he expect him to turn up personally and swing a long sword a la Ned Stark and chop off his head personally? Except for, staying his hand in the last very minute when he said, "Oh, no, okay, I'll take the black, all right." No, he sent out this Waldorf Salad. No, I mentioned him before, didn't I? Waldo Rivers. He's important because he's one of those base-born, someone would say bastards, Frey, whom we will encounter again in this same book. And it's going to be... he has a stern, as far as I remember, stern, tough man. But yeah, and they sent me to the wall. Take the black, go to the wall, or it's your head. You choose. So that's what happened. The sex worker's name was, what was it? Bessa, something like that. And she keeps or the whore as Chet refers to her. He's got slurs for everybody. Not a nice guy. And Bessa, I found it. And so there's the sob story. Oh, but okay, but I spent the whole day picking flowers for her. Now that is meant to, no, is that meant to make us sympathize? Well done, Mr. Martin. Well done. At least You're not creating, cardboard characters like, okay, I'm evil, full stop. That's all there is to me. Uh, he has had a few setbacks and a few disappointments in life. Okay, so that's, and but now he's got a plan. Now he's a man with a plan. Let's kill everybody. That's a good plan, and let's escape because we're not. There's no way we're gonna face 30,000 wildlings. So are you ready? Is everybody ready? Why is it getting so cold? Why are the animals so silent all of a sudden? Why aren't the dogs picking up the scent? Anyway, so he goes and joined the others. Not the others as in the others, the capital O others. That would be a massively unwise idea. But he just goes. Oh yes, and yeah, he joins the others. Go. Let's hear if everybody is still with us. All 14 of us. Are we still solid? Are we still? Yeah. We're gonna go ahead with the plan. Yeah. Don't fail me. All right. When everybody's asleep, we just do our dirty deed. And so, as I said, yeah. So Lark is in it for for his life, to save his life. Lark, the sister man, and he's got a plan. His cousins are with him, and in fact, given half a chance, it'd murder everybody. Like, oh, come on, can't we murder more people? No. I told you before. These are just the key officers, and maybe that's right, and Sam as well. Not just because I hate his guts because he took my job. Bloody foreigners coming in here taking our jobs. But also because he's the one who tends to the ravens. We don't want any ravens sent out. In fact, as far as I remember, part of the plan involves freeing the ravens or maybe eating them, and which brings me to John Paul II. What's his name again? Small Paul, who, as I said, he's mocked as Small Paul. No, yeah, Small Paul, thick as a castle wall. He's a bit thick. That's what they say, anyway, about him. And he's in for. He doesn't quite understand what's going on, what the deal is. But one thing is certain. One thing is certain. He's in for the bird. He wants to keep a bird. He wants to, as long as I get to keep L.C. Mormont's raven, the one who talks. In fact, I think I should take him because he could tell them. He could tell everyone else that it was us who did the deed. Ha! Haven't you thought of that? And you call me thick. Yeah. So I'll take the raven. I'll take the talking raven because he could, give us away. If we leave him behind, he could tell us it was us who did the deed. Okay, I said it before. Sorry, I keep repeating myself. Senility. So can I keep the bird? Come on. Can I keep the bird? And Chet goes, yeah, all right, yeah, okay. You keep the bird as long as I get to kick the dogs. Now let's proceed with the plan. They go back to the other. They meet. He meets up with Chet. Meets up with some other brothers who are practicing shooting arrows at a straw man, and these are these are Sam and Dolores, Ed, and various Ed Tollett. Ed Tollett is just he's a card, isn't he? He's a diamond. Everything he says is so quotable. But I'm not going to spend too much. If I had to pick one, it would be this one. He goes, Chet goes and starts mocking Sam, as you do, as everyone, nearly everyone does. And he says, look, look at you. You think you're so happy because you just barely hit the target, this straw man, in what would be the chest. Is it a straw man or a tree? A tree, yeah, because I think at some point Dolores Ed says, yeah, no, okay, yeah, you hit it in the heart, but generally, as a rule, trees don't have heart. Isn't that what he says? Or scarecrows don't have hearts. I don't remember. Anyway, and Chet, of course, never misses a chance to make fun of Sam. It says, ha ha, yeah, so you think you're so happy? You won't be fighting strong men when the wildlings arrive. See how you like it when they split your skull with an axe. At which point Ed replies, "Well, just because that's what happened to you when you got your skull split and half your wits were spilt on the on the floor. That doesn't mean that it has got to happen to everybody." And Chet, say what you like about him, but well, he's not a very quick, comeback sort of guy. Like, he's more like, well, I'd like to see you. Don't confuse me. And then just, in doubt, what does he do? He kicks a few dogs and leaves. And he's thinking, yeah, I don't regret. You know what? I'm not going to miss these guys. I'm going to be happy when I've slit their throats and I made out to them. And I've left this godforsaken place once and for all. And so far everything goes, hunky dory. There's a couple of more comments on how cold it's getting, and bada bing, bada boom. But you see, there's not a lot to say. I mean, no, far be it from me to say that there's lots of fillers. But no, it's just not. It's simply there's not a lot of things that jumped at me right now. See what this chapter beautifully achieves is to keep us, you and I, dear listener, us readers, distracted on the plot, like the mutiny plot. Oh, what's going to happen? But when in fact it's all those other little bits and pieces of information that are dropped in. I told you already, we've gone over them. The cold, the silent animals, it's a silent hill. The fist of the first man. And yes, something tragic and catastrophic and really scary is about to take place here. Believe you me. And that is what really should really start, we really should focus on. And so so he goes around, and there's the old bear, all these highborn bastards, they don't care about our lives. I'll tell you what. It's going to be a great life for me up there in Craster's Keep. King Chet. That's what they're gonna call me. Meanwhile, okay, yes, there's something else that I underlined here for some reason, and I don't remember why. Because Mormont at some point, what he calls all the black brothers, the men of the Night's Watch, called assemble. He heard a shout, which in a movie would be an ideal, jump scare kind of thing, like, oh my god, oh no, all right, no, everything is all right, it's just an assembly. And assemble, men of the Night's Watch, assemble at the central fire. Here's the plan. We're going to attack the free folk, and we're probably going to die, all of us. So any questions? But here's the thing, we have but I actually underlined the word assemble, and I don't remember why. But they do not know that we are here. That's what he says. And that's super important. I guess it must have felt super important to me at the time. Because do they or do they not? Has John, as far as we know, John has already reached... I told you the timeline is all screwy. It's all jumbled up, all over the place. Deliberately. George R.R. Martin wants us to put this puzzle together. It's part of the pleasure of reading these novels. I'm sure you agree with me. And it says, assemble, assemble. They don't know the wildlings don't know we're here, but maybe they do, because John 1, later on in the book, has already taken place, for all we know. I'm not sure. Anyway, so here's the thing. He goes, yeah, we're going to attack them, and so get ready, sharpen your weapons, but in the meantime, of course, Chet is getting more and more nervous. In the meantime, I mean, wouldn't you? He has never done anything of that scale before. He's never organized or planned anything as ambitious as that in his entire life, for all we know. All he can think of is Bessa again, and to think that it wasn't the knife that I wanted to put you in you, if you know what I mean. And he goes, no, and I picked you flowers. He keeps dreaming about her. Because then at some point he goes to sleep. Oh, should I have told you that? And he goes, yeah, and I picked you flowers such as wild roses and tansy and golden cups. Tansy, isn't that Tansy? Remember that name? Tango Alpha November Sierra Yankee. Remember that name, because it will. I think that's the same plant that will be central to another piece of the jigsaw puzzle. That is this beautiful book 3. It's part 3 of everything. It's like to most readers, this is the best one. Kind of like season 3 of The Wire. Don't know why I said that. The Return of the King, except that there are many more, loose ends at the end of this particular one. But we're still at the beginning, and I'm so excited to be doing this with you, dear listener. I picked flowers for you, Bessa, and this is how you repay me? I'll show you, and I certainly did. So anyway, let's get ready. The plan is set in motion. Let's go. Let's get ready. Everybody knows what to do. They've all been briefed, and snow was falling. How ironic, innit? How ironic that snow foils Chet's plans. One more time. I'm not the first person. Person to pick on that. Of course not. I don't. I don't claim to be that much smarter than the rest of our reading community. No, it's been pointed out by hundreds of people before. Snow would ruin it. In fact, no. I'll tell you what. It's not. It has actually been pointed out by George R.R. Martin. Thank you. Snow would ruin everything it worked for. As per usual, I lost the specific passage where he says that, but yeah, that's is spelled out loud and clear in the book. Let me just turn. And at that point, I think he loses his mind at that point, because he goes, well, you know what? Okay, so everything is lost. We're gonna die. We're going to die because that attack is suicide. But I'll tell you what, I can still get my revenge. I'm the one who's going to kill Mr. Tarley. So he goes there, creeps up on Samuel. Goes, hey, so how's it going? Yeah, right. Good. Ooh, what's that over there in the distance? Turn around. He's just about to slit his throat when we hear... Can I read this out loud? Well, no, really out loud. Ooh-hoo. Or was it you-hoo? Yeah, because if you read the letter U as, well, you, then it would be you-hoo. It's some... that would not be... appropriate in a series. And then at some point everybody's still. Everybody freezes. Oh my God, what's that? Yoo-hoo! No, but really, it's more like I'll try. Woo-hoo! Just so you know, this is a horn, but you already know that because you've made it to the end of this chapter. So good job. We can do this together, you and I, dear reader. We can do this together, and in under an hour. Look at that. It has been said by some blogger who goes by the name of Slint, Janos Slint. Remember him? The other Janos Slint, the corrupt guy. Yeah, I bring him up because I name him because that particular character might have his destiny, his life tied to the wall and the Night's Watch. Actually, yeah, no, it was. Yeah, of course. No. Sorry, that's not a spoiler. You know about this, but anyway. So a blogger named Janos Slint said, I love how George R. R. Martin sets up the suspense. One horn. Okay, there are Far Eyes or guards, members of the Night's Watch, posted all around the ring of trees, around the fist of the first men, who's supposed to obviously blow the horn in case they see anyone approaching. And there's a code to that. They're not going to be engaging in any Morse code. None of that. All they have to do is just blow it once if it is a friend approaching and not a foe. Blow it twice if it is a foe. However, if you blow it thrice, which hasn't been done in decades, not centuries, then it's the others. They're coming. They are coming, to quote Ian McKellen, Sir Ian McKellen, as Gandalf. And Janos Slint says, "Oh, I love the suspense." You're thinking, is it Jarmin returning? Because surely. But then, out of the blue, George R. R. Martin blows the horn again. Well, sorry, Janos, whatever your name is, I beg to differ. It's not that out of the blue. I mean, George R. R. Martin keeps going, yoo-hoo! On the page, you can actually see it. You know that the horn is going to be blown 3 times. And I'm sure he had a plan for that. I'm sure that Mr. Martin knew we were supposed to see this, like visually, graphically, editorially. There they are, all of the 3 yoo-hoos, one longer than the other. The last one being the longest. It seems to be going on forever. And so we know that it's the others. So much for the... See, I told you, right, as I said right at the beginning, things don't go as planned for anyone in prologues. Now, the plan is foiled, Mormont's plan is foiled, because the others are coming, and good luck with that, and we'll find out exactly how defensive or impregnable the fist of the first man really is. Chet's plan has gone out of the window, because now, even if you kill a tracker, I mean, it doesn't really take a genius to see where you went if it's been snowing. Not to mention that the snow is going to be dangerous for you, a fugitive deserter. The horse could, trip and whatnot. So yeah, that plan is foiled as well. And now it's up to the brothers of the Night's Watch to deal with the others. Will we actually see it happen on screen? Will we not? Will it be told as a flashback? Because this book series is all about deconstructing tropes. So who knows? Maybe you won't see it, but maybe it will be told and retold again and again. Well, as I said, I'm assuming you haven't made it that far, so I won't spoil it for you. Let's just conclude with Chet, who made a sound that was half a laugh and half a sob, and then you could feel the piss running down his leg. This is what I hate every time they do this in a movie, in a book. Why do they have to do this? Okay, I get it. It would be a completely natural reaction, but it just so makes me cringe. I don't know why. We all have our phobias. What can I tell you? All right, anyway. Like, dude, gal, sis, bro. I don't know what to call you. Dear listener, my gentle listener, it's been a pleasure. And, well, see you again sometime. Ciao.